bang. A loud crash echoed from downstairs, prompting Kennedy to rush down the steps, his sleepy eyes wide open. The deep creases in his pajamas betrayed how fast he'd jumped out of bed. "What happened?" he asked, confused, still groggy. He failed to notice the tense crowd gathered in the living room. Every pair of eyes was fixed on him. The floor was littered with shards of porcelain. "Kennedy!" John spat, his voice low and seething. Bloodshot eyes glared at him, lips trembling. His fists were clenched tightly. Why his voice cracked, shifting from fury to a broken whimper. The man looked shattered. Gloria stood beside him, one hand firmly patting his back while the other was clenched at her side. Her gaze locked onto Kennedy, radiating disappointment and disbelief. She had always treated him like her own son, the son she never had. Tears streamed down her cheeks. She couldn't believe it either. Julie stood off to the side, her tear-streaked eyes searching Kennedy's face, pleading, and somewhat filled with expectations. She had something to say, but her silence confused him. Kennedy looked around, seeking answers. His parents stood nearby, watching him with a strange mix of concern, confusion, and quiet judgment. "Why did you do that to Julie?" his father, Ben, asked, his voice heavy. The deep lines in his face made him look years older than he had the night before. Kennedy's mind reeled. What had he done to Julie? He was sure he hadn't done anything wrong. They had always been close. They played together, studied together, and practically grew up as siblings. Everyone called them childhood sweethearts. They had each other's backs, they were confident in their acts. "Dad, Kennedy started, glancing around the room. His eyes landed on Julie, trying to read her expression. Surely this was another one of those moments where they covered for each other. Julie avoided his gaze, bowing her head. She didn't explain. Trying to ease the tension, Kennedy spoke. "I'm sorry, Uncle John," he said, voice shaking. "I wanted to tell you, but I didn't know I'd cause so much trouble." He gave a vague answer, offering another chance for Julie to explain further. That was their routine. John snorted bitterly and turned away. "Don't be mad, brother," Jane said, stepping forward. "We'll get to the truth. But I won't let my niece face injustice, not even from my son." She turned to Kennedy. "Julie said you got her pregnant. Explain yourself, Ken. Why would you do that to her?" The words struck like lightning. Kennedy's mouth fell open. "Pregnant? What am I still dreaming? Where am I?" The world around him seemed to blur. A ringing filled his ears. He had already apologized without even knowing what the accusation was. And now, this no way. Although he and Julie were close, they'd never crossed that line. Not even a kiss. They'd shared laughs, tears, childhood secrets, but nothing more. His mind raced back. The last time they'd spent a night together, they hadn't even shared a room. Their houses were adjacent, sleepovers were regular. He had kept his distance while she was dating, but when she called one night sobbing over a breakup, he dropped everything to be there for her. That was it. That's all it was. He looked at Julie again. She avoided his eyes but kept sneaking glances, her hands twitching, eyes blinking, messages only he could decode. She wanted him to play along. What's wrong with this girl? Why would she think I'd take the fall for this? No. Not this time. My future's on the line. My parents' dignity. This was too much. A sudden surge of clarity hit him. "Wait a minute," what Kennedy shouted. "I did what?" The room froze. His outburst jolted everyone. Faces twitched. Murmurs hushed. Even John, who had seemed ready to explode, paused. Was Kennedy telling the truth? Believe me, Mom, he said, breathless. I couldn't do something like that to Julie. She's like a little sister to me. He turned back to her, pain flashing across his face. Julie, why he felt betrayed. Maybe because he had indulged her before, it gave her the idea she could pin anything on him. Yes, he was indulgent, but that was because of their sibling-like affections. Julie looked at him one last time, her lips trembling. And then she turned and bolted from the room, sobbing. John and Gloria hesitated, stunned. Then they ran after their daughter.